Okay, so today we are going to make a lesson for graphing systems of equations. A system simply means more than one. So it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, however many. You're just drawing the lines all on the same graph.
It's not unfrozen.
It's not unfrozen. Oh, that's a problem. Let's unfreeze it. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Bella. All right, so here we're only going to have two equations in our system. The first one is y equals x minus 1. Our format is y equals mx plus b. And we start graphing with the plus b. That's our y-intercept. So for this problem, our b is our -1. So we start at the origin, because origin means beginning. That's 0.00. It's where we always start. And we're just going to go down on the y-axis to -1. And I'm going to make a dot there. That's part of my line. So now I need my slope. My slope is attached to my x. What number is the pretend number in front of the x? Right? When there's no number written there, we know it's a 1. And slope also has to be a fraction.
So 1 over 1.
So I put a whole number over 1 to make it a fraction. So now I have 1 over 1. So I go from my b or my y-intercept down here, and I'm going to count up a +1 and over a +1. And that's my dot.
Up a +1 and what?
Over +1, because it's rise over run, right? The top number is my rise, so I'm going to rise up +1. And my second number is my run. I'm going to run across +1 across my x-axis. But I can keep going. And we all know you get a better line if you have more than 2 points. So I'm going to go from my dot that I just made, and I'm going to count up +1, over +1, and I'm going to put a new dot there. I can still keep going. I have more room on my graph. Why not get a more accurate line? So I'm going to go up +1, over +1, and make another dot. Can I still keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go to my last dot, and I'm going to go up +1, over +1. Here's another dot. That's a pretty good amount of dots, right?
Yeah.
I could keep going if I want, right?
Yeah.
All right. Can I reverse my slope?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So if all of my dots, remember, each of these 4 parts of the graph have a name, right? This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. In quadrant 1, we have a positive rise and a positive run. In quadrant 2, we have a positive rise and a negative run, right? So up here, we've got a negative positive. In quadrant 3, we've got a negative rise and a negative run. And in quadrant 4, we've got a positive and a negative, right? And so these are called ordered pairs. And our ordered pairs would be x and y. And the x is my run. And the y, I'll write it sideways. The y is my rise, right? So if I'm going to reverse my slope, and I've got a +1 over a +1, I wind up with the opposite, which is negative, which puts me down in this quadrant, which makes sense, right? Because if I were to draw a straight line, just lay my pencil along my dots, I wind up in this quadrant down here. So that's how I know I'm reversing it correctly. So I go back to my y-intercept, and now I'm just going to count down -1, and I'm going to run across -1. That's my dot right there. So I know I'm going the right way, right? I'm going to take my straight line, and I'm going to connect all the dots, and I am going to go all the way across the graph. And on the ends of my lines, I'm going to put my little arrows to show that my line goes off until infinity. So now the system is where I put the second line on. So here, I'm going to do y equals negative x plus 3. What's my b? Where do I start here?
The positive 3.
Yeah, positive 3 is my b. Oh, that color's too close. We'll do it in this color. So this is my b, right? This is my b. So I start back at my origin, because origin means the beginning of everything, right?
Right.
And so now it's a positive 3. So I'm going to count up positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. And I'm going to make a nice dot there.
Positive 3.
That's my y-intercept. So now I need a slope. All I have is a negative x. What's the number that goes in front of the x if there's no number there?
1.
A 1. And I need it to be a fraction, so I put it over a 1. Because you turn any number into a fraction by putting it over 1. So now I've got a slope of negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to start here. My rise is negative 1, so I'm going to go down negative 1. And I've got a positive 1 to run across.
Wait, how are you going down negative 1?
Because, look at my Michaela, check it out. Negative 1 over 1. So my top is my rise. My bottom's my run. Your rise is your up and down. Think of a helium balloon. If you let go of a helium balloon, it rises up, right?
Right.
So rise is up and down. My run, you run across a field, right? That's how you move across the x-axis. So I go down negative 1 for my rise, because it wasn't a positive number. It didn't float up. It floated down. And then I'm going to run across positive 1 from my y-axis, and my dot's right here. Can I keep going?
Yes.
All right. So let's do it again. I'm going to float down 1, right? I sink 1. I don't float. And then I still have to go over a negative 1, which puts my dot right here. I can keep going. Again, it's negative 1, so I'm going to go down 1 for the negative 1. But it's a positive 1 for my run, so I'm going to run across 1, positive x, and I'm right there. Sure. So here, I'm going to go down. I'm going to repeat it again. Let's get another dot in there. I'm going to go down at negative 1. I'm not rising up. I'm going down.
Down negative 1.
And I'm running across positive 1. So I'm going to make my loop going on the positive x direction. So I'm over here. I'll make one more. Let's make it crazy clear. I'm going to go down negative 1. And I'm going to go over positive 1.
Over positive 1.
Right?
Right.
All right. That's a whole lot of dots. Can I reverse my slope?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I have a positive 1 and a negative 1. Look at that. Looks like right here, right? Is my line going in that direction?
Yeah.
All right. So how would I reverse it? I'd make it what? I'd make positive and then negative on the bottom, right?
Right.
I'd flip the signs. So I'm going to go back to my y-intercept, and I'm going to go up 1, but positive x, which puts me right there.
Up 1.
Positive x.
Positive x.
And again, I'm going to go up 1, positive x.
Up 1. Positive x.
Positive rise 1.
Rise 1.
Positive negative run 1. I've got a bunch of dots. I can connect them now. So let me do that. I put my things here, and I'm going to make my line go all the way across my graph. The point where they meet, I'm going to circle, because that's the answer I really want at the end. All I want to know is where those two lines meet. So now I'm going to count it out. I'm going to go back to my y, back to my origin, and I'm going to say that this dot right here, my x, is positive 1